Hey, I'm Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates. And today we're going to do a real estate news breakdown, and we're going to cover an article recently published in the Seattle Times. The article we're going to talk about today is titled "Seattle Home Prices Still Climbing at the Second Fastest Rate in the Nation." And the article starts off talking about how Seattle area home prices in the fall continued to climb at a faster rate than almost anywhere in the country. According to the Case-Shiller Home Index, this is the 10th consecutive month that Seattle's held down the number 2 spot for price growth. This index is, as they note, looking at a 3-month rolling average of prices, and it's looking at the Seattle's metro area, and they're including King County, Pierce County, and Snohomish counties. I typically stay in King and Snohomish County. Pierce County is a little far from me, but still part of the Seattle metro area here for the sake of this study. Seattle's prices, though, year over year, according to their index, up 12.7%, which was the second highest. Phoenix was at 13.8%. I love Phoenix, by the way. The weather is a lot better than it is here in Seattle, but Seattle's a lot prettier. So yeah, that's the trade-off. Other great metro areas like San Diego are trailing Seattle, and overall the national average is also trailing Seattle. National average, according to this article, rose 9.5% year over year, which is a very, very steep increase, but Seattle even outpacing that. And home prices across the country have been going crazy this year. You would have thought during a global pandemic that we would have seen maybe housing prices level off or decline, but the mix of low interest rates and people having a different idea for what they want has kept the housing market going. And in certain areas, specifically ours in the Seattle area, people have been impacted by not being able to work and the shutdowns, but there also have been a lot of people that have been able to still work from home and keep the economy going. Some economies, particularly ours here in Seattle, have been able to adapt a little bit easier and a little bit quicker than others. As we dig into the data a little bit more here that's presented in the article, the price of housing costs less than about $485 rose at a faster rate than those that were costing a little bit more. The $726,000 and up houses were going at a slower rate, more like 12% versus 15% in the lower price points. And we've been seeing that the lower price houses are super competitive, but at the same time, we're still seeing a lot of competition in the higher price points too. I mean, we're seeing 10, 20 offers on some of the $1 million plus houses and seeing some pretty crazy things that are happening at those price points too. So I wouldn't say it's not competitive, but you're seeing a little bit more competition in the more entry-level price points. The article continues on saying that price growth slowed in May and June, which we talk about in my monthly market updates, and that the rest of the summer and fall prices started to speed up again. They also note that economists and brokers like myself say that the low interest rates drove would-be buyers to make that leap throughout 2020, and I really think that is true. If interest rates would have been 5%, we would have seen a completely different housing market, but they aren't, and so the low interest rates did help stimulate the economy, much like some of the stimulus checks that have been going out have been also helping continue to stimulate the economy. People got different loans, like business people got PPP loans. There's a new round of PPP loans. There were also a lot of different benefits and perks for people that were unemployed during the pandemic. I do know some people that made more money than they were making before, which is crazy, but it did help keep things moving along. And some of that has expired, and now we've got some new things in the works. But all of this has helped keep things moving. I don't want to get into the economics about it or who's going to pay for it and how it's going to get paid for, but it has helped keep things moving along. And we've seen that in the stock market, and we've also seen that here in the housing market. The article wraps up with a few other ideas. One being that the increase in office employees working from home appears to have been a net positive for interest in Seattle area housing, which they point to Californians most specifically. And I've had multiple clients in the last couple months that have bought homes coming from California, either remotely, completely remotely, or after maybe seeing a house virtually and they've never come out to see it in person. So there definitely have been people that have decided they want to get out of California. Some of them have kept their old jobs. Others have already had a job here in Seattle. We've seen a lot of people that have been hired maybe in the spring and summer for some of the tech companies that have then moved out here or have been thinking about moving out here in the near future, but haven't been required to like they would have been. So that's also been an interesting factor. And then the last one here, the last thought they had was that the home buyers wanting to leave the urban apartments for suburban homes has also been an important shift. And I think we have seen that as well. I've talked about that in my monthly market updates too, that we're seeing people change what they want because they're realizing that the world's changing, and if they're going to be stuck at home, that they're going to want to have a different setup. So we'll see what the trends continue to look like in 2021 and what that ultimate ramifications are going to be. But we're definitely seeing a shift back towards having some separate spaces, not just completely open, but having a designated space to maybe go have an office and make some video calls, or have a space to, for me, have the kids go play versus let's just have everybody play out here all the time and never be able to go to a park or go somewhere where there's other people. So as the world changes, which it has and probably will be changed in some ways forever, I think we'll continue to see a shift in what people's housing needs look like too. So stay tuned. If you want to see these kind of videos on a regular basis though, or hear my thoughts on the housing market, I recommend that you hit that subscribe button. That will allow you to see other videos that I do on the market, including my monthly market updates, and I put those out monthly. I also talk about King County and Snohomish County as well and share some of those stats as well as a bunch of other things related to housing in the Seattle area. So I look forward to continuing to connect with you and bring in some value here on the channel.